Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is IBG Studios, Voice of Zongo with me, Honorable Ufailu Sani. And today I have the privilege to be with a great man, philanthropist, social impact person. In fact, he is a hope, and I have to go to him and then he will introduce himself better, and then we'll get to know more about him and the things he's doing for his community in the Zongo, specifically in Medina. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you so very much, Mr. Failu Sani. I understand you have honorable attached to your name. That's quite interesting. Well, my name is Ishaq Abubakar Zico Newton. But before I actually proceed to tell you who I am, I would just want to really appreciate the effort IBG Studios is doing and the wonderful impact the Voice of Zongo is actually bringing to our Zongo communities across West Africa and Africa as a whole. And this is really something that is worth commending and something that is really worth supporting, because the Zongo communities have wonderful, unique stories to be told. And you guys are really towing that path, and we really appreciate this. So as I said earlier on, my name is Ishaq Abubakar Zico Newton. I am a social impact expert. I am a certified lead implementer, ISO 27001 lead implementer, more of into cybersecurity and data protection. I am also a youth activist in our communities, our Zongo communities, and in Ghana as a whole.
Wow, that's very interesting, and that is a very big one. You know, as I told you earlier, I'm here with a very great individual, and we will get to hear more from him. So, boss, in fact, I know you speak Hausa, so I want to know, how is your upbringing? How did it start? Were you born in Medina here? Where? How? I just want to know from.
All right, okay, so ni yaro Zongo ni, I feel cikin Zongo, so say mun girma cikin Zongo na Medina Zongo, to be precise. Ta street in Dagadu Street, na fata waɗanda suka san Zongo sosai sun san hanyar Dagadu Street nan ta wannan unguwa na girma. Kuma na je Gospel International School wurin da na fara primary na, she na move na zo Faith Community Baptist wurin na zana BECE, wurin na JHS na. To she na je West African Senior High School. Na san most of waɗanda ke duban mun san waɗanda suka je WAS. Yes, kuma lokacin da WAS ya zo a Denta kenan. So I was part of it. Now study agricultural science in the Nike WAS, and it was super exciting. So interesting. Ni dai fara one life ina gaskiya ban samu opportunity na je nursery school ba, preschool ba mu samu je ba. So da muke cikin school, wani ya ce kamar yaro da bai so koyo reading to iri su muke da ana neman wurin da ba su cikin reading sosai, to shi mu ne yan gaba wani ya ce to yaron zuku kenan. Yes, but alhamdulillah mun gode ma Allah inda muka ke sosai. Yes, so I think this is a bit of a background in the Nafara. I think afterwards naje UPSA naje koyo diploma in business studies, because things was not that quite easy. So now zama gida for close to about 3 to 4 years, and then naje DBS. After that na proceed naje African University College of Communication, naje communication to wurin da muka fara ga kan abubuwa sosai, ga gan kamar no ga possibly hanyar da yafi mu bi ke ga. So this has been story more. Basically, ba mu fito gidan da ake dai a ce we rich home ba, mu fito gidan da ake buga kanto a sana a ci abinci. We were really struggling, trying to make ends meet, so hard to really survive. So cikin Zongo When yeah, tuna. I could look at in the muke alumi, because we are never alumi chicken, come baller. Bukuma je gida de mutani. Esa, I could, sheku ya family.
In fact,
Syllable be waransu, muraya musata, syllable be waransu, musa dushina chicken mukakafa, maje away muna alumi. Saboda muna neman kuɗi mu je mu ci abinci, mun je mango, mun je bera, yes, mun je, so many things, mun je any work daga University of Ghana, muna yin mu je wajen nan mu je a aike mu ana ba mu coins, so irin dai life yaro Zongo in totality, mun yi wurin abubuwa kuma sosai. And
well,
it has
like
been
Khalif.
yes, it has been an
Khalif life of Zongo.
of course, it has
Seriously,
been an
no,
educational
it sounds like it is nostalgic, some kind of domain. It is a clear story you are telling. Well, Mangola is do call me. In fact, I'll do my double trouble. Domin silver one I must do such away. Man, that is serious. Wow, what an interesting personality. What an thought. At what stage in your life did you find a turning point? Come on, no. At this time, what happened?
Okay, so for more, so Momo have opportunity to stay with our auntie because she mom the pop more. So Sunje hustle, so what auntie Momo stay with for long, and even though Warasu she one time one agamu kabanda dabini, but then we were dadabi with her labor. Yes. Dadabi in the sense that no, you can't do that. You are not permitted to go to that extent. And so even though there were, there was no really money in the house, we were still, raised in a very closed system. And so as time went on, and I think when I was about to write my BECE, in fact, I was supposed to be in a batch ahead of me, but then due to lack of resources, I had to join the batch. Yes, the batch after. So I had to step 1 year backwards. And, that was really a tragic moment for me because, as a kid, you see your colleagues being promoted and you are not going forward, not by virtue of the fact that you have been quote unquote really repeated though, but for reasons, for financial reasons, you couldn't register to write BECE. And so you had to stay back and raise resources to write. And so that perception of I don't want to ever find myself in that situation started growing from then. And we were movie watchers. We were watching a lot of movies then, Ghanaian movie, and you will see someone say, more of these storylines, a child's father will be fired from work, and then everything will just... So, coupled with this thought when I never had the opportunity to join my year group to write BECE, then this thought of I don't want to be fired and I don't want to find myself in this situation actually, started, growing. And so the quest to become successful, the quest to become independent, started growing inside. But, as a young boy, then there was nothing we could do about it, but just, start getting to worry about it. And so fast forward, the next year when we were about writing our BECE, I think the same story was going to happen again because there was no money. And so, one had to do what he had to do.
So the money in terms of school fees or registration fee or what was it then?
Bro, we were owing school fees. We were those who were gathering school fees like 3 years and we owe. And then at the same time, now the school was not looking for school fees.
Just register
and go. Because they know that when you register and you are done writing the exams, when the results are ready, they will find a way of collecting their food. So me, the registration fees, I wasn't having it. You understand? And so it wasn't a very pleasant experience. So that was where wanting to be independent started. And so I think I started selling a lot of things in the market. So I started selling, I started with ginger, where, I carry ginger on my, and by then people who do hair portrait and sell were ladies, girls. Yeah, difficult to see guys. But then that time I was giving ginger to go and sell.
Were you on your own or by...
No, I was with our auntie. Apparently, one of my auntie's friend brought ginger from the north, and so she was selling the ginger in the market. And now we would have to, sneak fetch some of the ginger when the woman is going to sell in the market, because she leaves in the morning. So when she's going to sell ginger, when we go to school and come back, we'll now take the plates, pick some of the ginger, chicken house and and then we go out and sell. And I remember one unique experience. This boy, Alfred, smiley like. So I was selling. Alfred happened to be my classmate, and he's the type that, his mouth will not sleep, And so, Alfred, when Alfred sees you, you should know that the whole school will
hear that you sell ginger.
And unfortunately for me, I was selling ginger. I was working with the pan, and I saw Alfred and 3 of our colleagues coming. I had no option than to look for the nearest car to hide the ginger under. Don't know, Alfred had already spotted me from afar. Alfred came, pulled the ginger out, and they teased me. And I cried my eyes out. Trust me, it wasn't a pleasant experience also, So from ginger, I moved to polythene bag in the market, and polythene bag was normal because those who were selling polythene bags in the market were normal guys. And so we moved to selling of polythene bags just to make ends meet, to be able to sort for some of these things.
You really passed through the mill. Trust me, through the mill of life, and you are a typical Zongo boy and you have experienced it. But very, very few people with this background are able to suffice from this kind of, and even have the reorientation of their mind to do something for themselves and for their community. Amma maganan kan yana da ban mamaki don ba easy bane. Kuma muna da mutane har yanzu cikin unguwannan mu da suka bi cikin wanga abu. Ba survive ba survive in terms of ba ya an sake rayuwa ba. Har ka bi cikin ka je school ka wanga. Kai ka gaya min wani abu kai after da ka gan changes in rayuwanka, wani abu kai in terms of leadership, in terms of social impact, ko me ya bari ka feel kamar no, ban bari yan baya na su bi cikin abin da na yin ga. Me kai in particular?
Okay, so Alhamdulillah, I think that we are not too special than any other person. I think it's just by divine intervention of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has really gotten us where we've gotten to. And because we started really realizing life when we got to the tertiary level. Because as I said earlier on, my goal was really not to live a poor life. I'd wanted not necessarily to be extremely rich, but then I should be able to,
at least find some financial independence.
Have some little financial independence for myself and people around me. And so when I got to the tertiary level, that was UPSA, I saw people coming to school with vehicles. And then that also struck my mind. And I told myself, I was going to go to tertiary only with a vehicle. Yes, like I have to drive myself to school.
Wow.
Because I felt that
that's ambitious.
Yes, that was super ambitious. And so I started doing a whole lot of jobs. I did a lot of menial jobs, especially these research jobs. So more of when MTN was having a bit of telecommunication challenges when Momo credit transfer started. Not Momo transfer, but unit transfer. So we were actually taxed. My company, the company I was working with, which is now defunct, was taxed to do a national outlet census. You get it? Now, this afforded me the opportunity to visit so many communities in Ghana, and so I had to go to the north. I went to the Ashanti region. And when we go to these places, we had an opportunity to lodge in hostels. So lodging within the hostels made me see people who were in the university, even though I'd done any work before. But then this actually got me closer to these people, because when we're doing any work, we were feeling like they were quite different from us. But then now, also having the opportunity to lodge in the same hostel that these people have lodged in, mostly during their vacation period, gave us that sense of, like, for me, it awakened something in me that, no. This is not the direction that I'm supposed to pick, because I feel I also have something unique to offer, and we need to get out there and do something. And so that change ability of wanting to let people, know what I have experienced. I've been the Nigerian Gani or Jane in the Nikkei field. Come on, no. Young Zongo, it looks like we are muna wasa, come on, muna feel come on society, then like shiki then no. Our people must really see it. And that by then I was having challenges in reading. Reading was a very serious challenge for me. Yes, because
At that level.
yes, at that level, because I never had a preschool experience. You see, so it wasn't that easy. Then I came back, I sat down, and really had a lot of thinking going through my mind. So I had an opportunity to work with one woman. She was the former CPP vice presidential candidate, Nana Sakuma Kuma Frempoma. I'm sure Nana will be watching this. Nana Frempoma. Nana, I hope you're doing very well. Nana actually gave me a community to handle when there was a problem in Haiti. So we were raising funds in Ghana to support Haiti. And so that's how come I went to work there. And Nana gave me Eastern region to handle. I went to Asasewa to raise funds. And in the process of raising funds, even though I was a very stubborn stammerer, I realized that I was able to really articulate whatever I wanted to tell the people I met there. I was able to really communicate it very well. And so this actually made me feel like, no. I need to come back. There is more. Again, so we need to come back. So when I came back, the first thing I thought of doing was that we needed to educate our people on climate change. And so arguably, we happen to be the first team. I created a team here, myself, artist. We created the first team that came out with the first climate change song in West Africa. I can even say Africa, arguably. Yes. And it's on YouTube. I know people are looking for that song to watch. I will not show you where the song is. It's still on YouTube. I will not give you the title of the song because, it was so crazy so much that...
So were you also singing?
Of course, we sang. We mounted the studio here. We actually got people to, to do the rap, to do the music and a whole lot of stuff. And then when the music came out, we showed it to a couple of people. Ben Bracco, who is the former Ben Bracco, we know, had a feel of the song and he was super excited. And so that was when I realized that people were beginning to appreciate something that we as young people from our community have done. And so then we came back to the community again. And here we now establish our preschool experience. We thought it wise that no, if we want to change the lifestyle of the people we have in our community, then it is ideal that we need to start from the root. Because we realized that people were having young people were dropping out of school, and the young people were being seen as, the young people within our community were seen as people who don't want to learn because they weren't doing well in school. And so you would realize that, they have names like Dumayaru, Zuku. When they say Zuku in Zongo, that means you are dead. Your head is gone, And so in order to correct that, I chanced on a research, and then I realized that, no, this research could help us because the research was saying that people who go through preschool are likely to stay in school longer as compared to those who don't have a preschool experience. And I always have this perception, this thought in mind. You can't change someone who's already grown. You can only nurture those who are growing in order to come out with a specific outcome that you wish to have. And so that's a long-term project. Yes, a long-term project. And so we started a preschool experience with only 2 people. And by then, I had an opportunity to work as the district coordinator for Zongo Entrepreneurship Development Program. I was the deputy coordinator. Yes, it wasn't a big position.
So then that means you started impacting Zongo not today.
Oh, of course, long ago.
Wow,
and
I'm highly impressed.
Yes, we gave people to master trainers. So this was the project was like the government was going to get us to identify people who are doing sewing, hairdressing, metalworks, get young people who want to study these skills, and then we give these young people who want to study these skills to the master trainers. That was how we termed them. So we did that during Atamil's time, Atamil's of Blessed Memories time. But unfortunately, government was not paying. But then the people we also gave the beneficiaries to, they also didn't want to sack the beneficiaries that on the grounds that they have not paid. And so they were looking for something that they would use to sack them. And so one of the things was those who were having children were actually disturbing them at their workplaces. And so they wanted to use that to sack them. And then we said, no, since I already have an intention of having a preschool, why not let's start with these children? So we now collected the children from wherever they were, from these parents. We tell them that, okay, this place is open. What we could do is whenever you are going to work, bring the child here, drop him here, pay 2 cedis. They'll take care of the child. You go to work, because if you go there, the child will go and actually spoil the pressing.
That's a smart move.
And so we just started with two kids. And it wasn't even a nursery school what we're doing, or they'll come here, we'll sing for them. We just praying that evening should get near.
Then just go.
And then the preschool started setting in. And it was actually on a charitable basis. And so you just come, you pay feeding fee, no fees, you take care of your child. The child is being educated. And trust me, for the past 10 years, we've been able to impact the lives of close to about 800 young people. Yes, and we have, graduated close to about 400 children over the last 8 years to basic school. And one unique thing, is that Mother of All Nations Basic Charitable Nursery School, or should I say academy, is one of the schools that produce children who are able to read at KG2. Yes, and so these were some of the things that we started doing quickly.
Interestingly, you didn't get the preschool. You didn't read, but you taught people how to.
Of course. And as time went on, we realized that no, the kids were not the only people who really needed intervention. And so we thought it wise that we were going to really have what we call the Read Camp project. This was supposed to train those who are in upper primary and JHS in reading, so that when they go back to school, they will be able to, read well, and be able to do better in their school. And so we initiated the Read Camp project. This one started in 2016. We started the Read Camp project, and over these years, that's 9 years now, we've been able to impact the lives of about 12,000 people across Ghana. Yes. And
this serious?
Yes, there is one lady called Helena. I think she's working with your studios. Helena, I got to know Helena as a volunteer. She came to volunteer for this.
Oh, wow. Helena, this will have to get to you. That's the thumbs up to you. Wow, volunteering.
Yes, Helena volunteered, I think in 2001 or so. Yes, and that was when Helena started volunteering for the project. That's how come we even met, because she saw the advert online and she thought it wise that she has some bit of time that she could support with. Wow. And we started. And trust me, as we speak now, some of the impacts we could talk about is we have our children who started the preschool. Some of them are now ready to write BECE, and they are very, very okay. They are performing wonderful things in their various schools. We have people who have taken part in our Read Camp project who are now doing far better than what they used to be. There was one profound story that really hit me. I shared it last week at the Ghana Civil Society Forum 2025. So there was this girl, she was informed to in a school called Pantine Village Basic School. She was really having challenges with reading, but she was informed to preparing to write her BECE. And so when we went there, we realized the girl couldn't read and she couldn't see. But apparently, the sight was not true. She had to hide behind the eye, not being able to see very well, just to cover her inability to read. And so we tried to do the assessment. We realized that no, this girl is not blind. She is pretending to be blind. And so we actually assigned one volunteer to her. And that volunteer, I remember her name is Dana Kumi Ayebia. That's the volunteer we assigned to the girl. And we took the girl through our 3 weeks period with Read Camp. We took the girl through the reading process, one after the other. At the end of the project, we couldn't say that she really mastered the act of reading, no. But then we were able to take her through the phonetics sounds of words. And now she could now join words on her own. She could now take her time to read. And trust me, the girl I'm speaking about is now in Nifa Senior High School. Yes, doing extremely well. And anytime she calls us, the story she tells us is she's super excited, and she, like she said, God bless us for what we've done, And we are of the view that no, we didn't do anything, because you also gave out that much support in wanting to improve. And so that eyesight she was crying off is no more, and she performed well. I think she had
and in fact, it wasn't there in the first place.
Of course.
Wow.
So these are some of the impacts we
Kabar Najda didn't Fira or lie. Kabar Najda didn't Fira. But through Firanka, it sounds like Bakataba face one challenge. Come on, it was just smooth. You just organize this part, it's happy. You just organize this, it's happy. So I just want to know, was there any challenge or any rough patches there along the line? When you were...
Hey, Chawa.
Yeah, you see.
In fact, the road has always been rough. Yeah. It has always been rough, because you are living in a community where people hardly support initiatives of this kind. You live in a community where when you start champion developmental projects within your community, they see you to be too known. When you start, they see you to be booklon. These were some of the names that they were calling us in our community. And so challenges we really faced a lot. Not only financial challenge. You see, financial challenge will be, you don't have money, someone gives you money to do the project and you are okay. But we had societal pressures,
backlashes, and all that.
We have people in our community who, excuse my language, not everybody, but then there are people. I need to say this in Hausa, please. The fact that so this has actually been some of the challenges that we faced in our community. And trust me, it is the reason most of our Zongo communities is where
it is now, because Bamu support you now.
You see, it's not even about the support. The support, people have realized that our Zongo community do not support much as they are supposed to support. We understand that. But then the opposition you face for identifying a challenge that you feel you want to correct, those challenges, for the mere fact that you are the spearheader of the challenge, not because you want fame, not because you want anything, you just feel like you have the opportunity to touch one or two change. That one alone, people will not allow you to go through easily. And that has been one of the greatest challenges we face in our community. And if we are able to pick those things out, in Hausa, people will call it hasada, or I don't know, there are other words that would want to give it to. If we can pick some of these things out of our system, trust me, the Zongo community is full of a lot of talent, a lot of ideas, a lot of innovations. There are a lot of wonderful people in our communities who want to champion developmental projects, but they are scared. They are scared because when they make a small list mistake, people will sweep all the positive things that they have done and capitalize on the mistake and give it to them to that extent that they might even lose the brand that was actually giving them the support they were having to even feed their families that 1 year Soraman that they were trying to support the community with. And so a lot of people are right now, even when it comes to politics. Yes. You realize that our people are not even trying to get into politics because they know that our own people are those who are actually going to, hit them, backslash them. They are going to, tear them apart. Not for anything, for reasons that this guy is wicked. We know that he's going to chop money. We know that he's going to make money. He's using that to make. But obviously, when someone is putting in the work, obviously he's going to benefit from it. And when he's benefiting from it, he's obviously going to spend some because he's doing the work anyway. And so this is one of the main challenges that we face. Aside that is finance.
Finance.
People find it difficult to support. There are other projects that we've run. The iftar with inmates. For me, I think that the community has really supported me so much in so many ways. Not only not with the Zongo community. I had a lot of support from outside of the community who felt that, well, these are projects that they were super excited of, and so they came in to support. But you see, financial challenge has actually been one of the key things that really affects us. Where even people in Zongo, when they want to support you, they feel like you need to pay them for the support. And so the concept of volunteerism is not really understood well within our context, because people feel like if they come and volunteer, you need to give them transport.
Something must have to happen.
Something must come out. And I think that defeats the purpose of volunteerism.
Mm-hmm.
And so this has also been one of the challenges that we've really faced in our communities. And the last but not the least is we don't have open spaces that we could actually use for initiatives like this.
The place is Zongo in the first place.
Of course, everybody is building a single room somewhere. You know, everybody's building a single room somewhere, you know, to rent or to make ends meet or putting up a kiosk somewhere.
In fact, where I was born, currently, I went back to the house, in the middle of the house, because it's now a property. The new generation, one has taken the field, the little space that is left in the house is rearing sheep. And, and beside him, in the middle of the house, he has built a public toilet in there. So I'm like, are we growing, or we are rather, you know, what is going on? Because it's very tough.
So it's very tough. But then I think that Zongo is having a paradigm shift currently, because you are having most of our people who are, you know, getting educated. Most of our people who are beginning to read in between the lines because they have been exposed. They've traveled to other countries. They've seen how systems work there, and they are, you know, transferring some of these learned behaviors back into the community. And so I feel that, you know, gradually we are actually making progress. We are growing. We are moving one step at a time. You know, gone were the days where people will say a Zongo girl is not supposed to read law or not to become a media personality. But now we are having media personalities who are female Muslim ladies who are doing exceptionally well within the media space. And we are having people who are within the law fraternity who are doing extremely well. And so I think the narrative is changing, but it's changing at a very slow pace. But then we can only give credit to people who have done wonderfully well. The pastors who were preaching, the imams and the chiefs who were able to support people in spite of the challenges that they were going to face, but still went ahead to touch the lives of individuals who are doing quite well within the community. You know, they are actually the unsung heroes we need to really give much more praise to.
Beautiful. Listen to you. Face challenges. So that is where people break down. And I am a victim of such situation. Yes, I am a typical victim of such situation. People break down. So in this situation, what are the philosophy, or what are your philosophy that you use to stay grounded with your social impact project? What are some of them?
All right. So there has been one phrase I don't joke with so much. Champion the change you wish to see in your environment, one step at a time, in your own small way. You get it? So, for instance, I realized that we don't have preschool, public preschools in Medina Zongo. I established one. For the past 8 years and still counting, we are touching the lives of young children within this community. Imagine that another community also identifies the same thing and they are doing that. I cannot as well say I want to establish close to about 100 of these charitable preschools across Ghana. I can't. But then if we can have 100 people who can establish these same charitable nursery schools within their own various communities, we can also begin to say, okay, we want to train young people, you know, in our own small way to master the act of reading. We want to, you know, ensure that our communities are clean. And so we want to have a group that will ensure that community people come out once every month to tidy up our community and then dispose of all rubbish. We want to, you know, have a group that will say, okay, they are going to create watchdog committees to ensure that people in massive drug abuse behaviors, those who are actually engaging in illicit drugs, smoking in the open, that our young children are observing and learning from, they want to police them out of the community and ensure that they do not get themselves into that because the young ones are learning. So when we begin to champion this small change in our own small way, it actually joins up to become that one big thing, that we also, for me, someone would say, most people would say, this guy has done a lot of projects. I've done so many projects, not necessarily, not with money. At times, by virtue of the person you have become, you can just call one or two people, speak with them, tell them that you want them to do A, B, C, D, and they'll be there to really support you. And so I feel that when we begin to champion that little change that we want to see, we would actually be able to do a lot of things. So that is what I've been moving with. So if I see any challenge that I can solve in my own small way, or I know somebody who can solve that problem, I just, initiate it as a project and then call the person to join in and let the person become a leader of that project. And then we keep moving and we support the person to grow. And so, we all need to do this. And that has been my focus. If not, we would have stopped whatever we are doing long ago, because trust me, it's not easy.
That's true. Very, very true. Very, very true. I've been in that, corner, and I can tell you are a beacon. Trust me, that people will look up to. Trust me, it's a very, very, very good thing that you are doing. But in all of this, I even my manager Helen, I realized she's worked with you before, and other people and all that. How do you keep your team organized? How do you do that? How do you make sure you convince people? Just like the way you were telling me, sometimes you don't even have to put in money, but rather your influence and the way you even communicate. How do you put up your team together and make sure they work towards what you desire?
All right. So there's one thing I always tell my team, my volunteers, and the people I work with, which is success is somewhere we have never been before, and so you shouldn't expect that whoever is leading you could lead you perfectly well to the promised land, because we've never been there before. Obviously, if you are traveling to somewhere you've never been, you don't know whether you need to take left or you need to take right. You are just going, you are trying the routes. If they might just give you road marks that when you get here, you see this, you get here, you see this, and then you go with road marks. And so definitely, if you are going with more road marks and you have never been there before, you should be sure that you are going to face certain challenges. And so if all your team members really understand that these are some of the, there are possible challenges, and you are not a superhuman. You are equally a human being
like them.
But the fact is that one person must just lead in order to have a harmonized, energy. And so, when people begin to understand that, I think it makes it quite easier. And secondly, for me, I feel like sustainability has been one of the key things that have also grown some of these things. And so, for me, instead of just leading alone without, bringing in your own idea, there are instances where you need to bring in people to also come and take over from where you have gotten to, in order for them to also have the feeling such that when your energy is drained, another person continues from there. And so this has been the mantra we have been working with. Helena, aside volunteering for Read Camp, actually became one of the volunteers for, she became a coordinator for, what do you call it? Is it breast cancer, cervical cancer, something? And, we just did a project on breast cancer and cervical cancer, and she was the coordinator for it, the project, and we were all following her. Whatever she says is what we do till the project was done. She's not a project manager within the social space, no, but
through the volunteerism,
they were to do it. And now we see super well where she has got into. There are other wonderful people who have really done well. Muna Focus currently is having her own business out of the same group that we are talking about. A lot of people, Mubarak, Hasia, Samed, and a whole lot of people who are doing extremely well. And so I feel that the formula has just been single, which is lead, give people an opportunity to lead, but don't let them feel like you are a supernatural being. Let them know that you are a human being. When we make mistakes, they tell you the mistakes you have done. You guys sit down, you discuss whatever you have to do to move to the next stage, and then you move. But you equally need to have values. There are certain things that my people, my volunteers, or my team know that I will not do. And so when someone comes to tell them that, hey, have you heard that Zico has done A, B, C, D? The first thing they'll tell them, no, Zico will not do this. But there are certain things too that when you come and tell them Zico has done A, B, C, D,
yes,
it's true. Zico, we know that he will do this. So then when you have those values in place and you are able to leave those values with your team, I think it makes things quite easier. And so there are a lot of dramas that will not come around. But even with all this, there are still challenges, whether we like them or not. And as and when these challenges come, you just look at the best way forward, the best option that you need to possibly use, and then you use it. At times, even the best strategy will not actually even work. And so when you hit the ground, you understand that you did this, you hit, and then you just get to pack your pieces together, and then you move on.
Wow, that's interesting. And during the conversation, I realized earlier you were talking about data analysis, data security, and all these things. That means you are into tech or you know something about tech. So what technological tool has really helped you, or can you say something about it with us, especially those of us who are trying to go into tech, and how is the impact in line with your work that you do?
All right. So for me, this is so interesting. I have a friend called Abdul Jabbar Lamtam. He's the CEO for COSIS Solutions and Secure Central. And, I knew Jabbar when we were doing the Zongo Entrepreneurship Development Program, ZIT. And, he's been talking about tech, but then I didn't really pay much attention to it till he's established his company. And so anytime he's been talking about this, IoT and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So one day we're just sitting down, we felt like, no, some of these things, one has to actually dare into it. And coupled with watching a lot of videos online, you feel like, oh no, come on, you are lost,
Yeah, come on, Kajibaya.
Come on, Kajibaya. So I picked interest in a lot of, tech related programs. And so I started doing, I learned Microsoft Power BI, for data analysis and the likes. I took interest in Microsoft Agile, went through the training for that. Even went through cybersecurity. I actually picked a program with NetAcad. And then we went through Cisco training, learned a whole lot of things. But even through all this, I was seeing stars because these were virgin areas that I was actually venturing myself in. But I realized that the world was moving to a different level. And if you really want to be a development practitioner as you claim you want to be, then you actually need to be in sync with the realities on the ground. And so AI started coming up, and I felt like, no. This is something I need. I think is novel. The idea is novel, and we need to really get into it. We need to know how some of these things work. And so if we need to know that, then we need to find a way of trying to understand some of these things. And so lo and behold, I really had a couple of friends who were also talking about data security. And so instead of going to AI first, I rather chose to get into data security, try to really learn something around that. And don't know, when I was studying it, I was actually getting myself certified. And thank God I'm a PECB 27001 lead implementer. And I'm also a lead trainer as well. And so anywhere in the world, I can train people for as far as 27001 LI is concerned. And after that, I now took interest in wanting to study a lot of things about AI. And frankly, it was an exciting moment. And it really gave me a lot of opportunity. I had to tour a lot of European countries to talk about AI from the African perspective. Yes. And I think I came back this year. So in February, I was touring some countries in Europe, talking about AI, talking about how young people could take advantage of it, and then also talking about digital footprint, data protection, and how some of these things work within the system and how Africa is seeing it. And alhamdulillah, it has actually been one of the opportunities that I am so super excited about. And thanks to the colleagues that I have around me, who have actually been more of a motivation to really push some of these things forward, for urging me on to take this. Yeah. And so we've used a lot of tools. AI is what we use now for most of the works that we do. And trust me, I think it's something that our Zongo people need to pay attention to. So, young people out there, we are all still young. We are all young. Yes, it's time for us to really, dare ourselves. And, AI is not going to take your jobs away if you don't pay attention to it. Yes. So AI will take your job away if you don't pay attention to it. And so this is the time for us to really get daring. The phones we are holding, you don't need a laptop to really get into it. You just need to just start reading, start watching videos. Just that TikTok platform where you are watching a whole lot of things can actually be a learning platform for you. And trust me, if you're able to dedicate close about 1 or 2 months to some of these things and you're able to really get some prompt engineering skills, automatically you'll be making some money out of it.
That's great. And in fact, you just answered my next question as to what kind of advice would you give to the Zongo youth in terms of, going into the tech? Though I know for the Zongos we do, but I can tell we are not up to date. Most of us are still, in the, but I like the answer you've just gave in terms of the technology. So do you see yourself, without technology, how do you see yourself? Do you think it's the same when you don't know anything about tech and now that you are vested in it? Do you see difference?
Oh, honestly, if I have 2 children, tech is my third born. Trust me. So we are in the 21st century. Hello, guys. You can't do without technology. Trust me. And so it doesn't even matter your age. If you are 70 years, trust me, try to start doing something. I've started training some old men who are running businesses. I've started training people, on how to use technological devices and even how to use the AI. Started training a couple of people in that. And I think it's really getting so well. And they're even excited. It's not like how it used to be. And so it's something that we all need to embrace. Technology is something we need to. And even with that, we are trying to launch our super ambitious project this year. That's the 1 million youth in tech. We want to train 1 million young people in Ghana by 2030 in employable tech skills. We want to ensure that young people have skills such as graphic designing, even AI prompt engineering. We want to have people who can have content generational skills, graphic designing.
In fact, I'll be one of the students.
Videographies and a whole lot of stuff, because we believe that the world is getting to a direction, or it's moving towards a direction that you become a little worthless without technology. And so it's something that we need to pay attention to, and communities must really embrace this. And this project, we are not actually going to worry ourselves to seek for funding. We are going to ensure that communities will call and say we should come and do some of these things within the community. So someone can say, okay, I want to volunteer. I want to support with 20 laptops for my community. You people come and implement it in our community, because we want to ensure that we have homegrown solutions for the community. That is the only way we can ensure that these projects are going to be sustainable. You understand? We shouldn't wait for somebody to bring money from Qatar or Saudi, and then we'll now come and start working calculation on how much the person spent for the project and how much is left. No. The blessings is there when we impact people. You understand? And so it's time for us to really, begin to grow these home solutions for ourselves. And there are so many ways. The mosque in your area that prays 5 times a day only, and aside that, the mosque is closed, can be a hub. Your church, can be a hub. There are mosques now that have story building, top and down. These places have centers that we could use. Locking them up and saying that they say, no. The places that we learn Islam from, the people who borrowed Islam from.
In fact, this topic is very, very controversial where you are going, but I really like it because sometimes we lack this understanding that the masjid that is there, and in fact, where you are going, anyway, I wish my manager will let us come and meet you again. We'll talk about this thing. Sometimes we overrate the religion, you understand? And I don't know, I'm not saying we overrate, but I don't know how to put it. The fanatism.
Let me get you. Let's not even go deeper. I will say something, and let's get it right. You see, the mosque is not only for prayer. The mosque is a learning center, and it's not supposed to be used to study only Arabic and Islamic knowledge alone. Please. It's a knowledge center. Are you getting it? And so, if we can use the mosque to train people in IT skills other than prayers alone, we have to do it.
In fact, you've said it. You've nailed it. You've nailed it. Because I have this issue. In fact, even teaching people in the mosque, teaching them how to read and write English, I had a problem.
No, it's not supposed to be so.
I'm like, why?
No, let's go to the books and find out what the mosques were used for and learn from there. Mosques can be libraries. People will pray and finish and take a geography book or take a theology book from the bookshelf in the masjid, sit there and read. You understand?
That means you are wasting resources.
Yes, even in some other countries. Look, when you travel, you see a lot of things.
Yeah.
You go to other countries and you realize that there are TV sets, television sets, giant television sets in the masjid. Okay? Where young children will come and sit down there and watch cartoons. And so instead of them going to loiter around and play and learn all sorts of behaviors that are uncalled for, they are being trapped in the mosque. They watch cartoons, and when it's time for Salah, they pause the cartoons, they come down, perform ablution, go and pray, and continue. So imagine a child plows the mosque for close to like 3 weeks consistently. We have then automatically formed the behavior of prayer in his life.
In his life.
We need to understand some of these things.
Ecological. Very simple. Very simple. But I really like how you put it. And I pray that my Zongo community are watching. Kungani rayuanga kamayenda boss na efading. Ako wana baba nde muki overrating shi. Ndeke mu overrating shi to the extent mu bata rayuwa mutani dewa. Wanga simple logic ndeke bayar wanga. Mu ye mu masa addini ma ye karfi cikin zuciyar yara with just this simple logic in dake bayar wanga. In fact, I'm really happy with what you are saying. And this has been IBG Studio with me, Honorable Ufailu Sani. I'm here with Mr. Zico. Should I call you Honorable?
Yes, no, Zico.
And do you have an aspiration of becoming a politician?
Well, I don't know where Allah is taking me to. If Allah takes me through the corridors of politics, of course we would embrace it. Yeah. And we would also contribute our.
In fact, I was in the campus and I was here with the Legon campus. I was there with some Medina girls, and I heard this Zico long ago. Oh yeah, so when to the Elena was Zico, I'm like, this name has flashed in the head, but I don't know the face, and I'm very, very excited to meet you here. So, what advice can you give the Zongo youth? Because we know our people. We know how we think, how we do our things. What advice can you give, especially those who want to do the social impact work or activities? Because a lot of us have that thing within us. We've seen the mishaps and the problems, and we want to find a solution to, but the zeal, the courage to do, we don't have it. So what advice can you give?
Number one, people are concerned about the negative things people are going to say about them. For which reason, a lot of ideas are still in people's head, waiting to explode. But for all you know, that wonderful idea that you are having is actually the turning point of another person's life. And so, it's like a fellowship. You will definitely have people who will oppose it, and then you will definitely have people who will be in support of it. And so, Zongo, let's forget about those who will oppose it and come out with it live, so long as it is legal, it is morally right, and it is healthy for our communities. Number two, everybody has a unique ability inside them, because we were not just created to come and just pass through life like that. We have wonderful goals to achieve. Like, we have wonderful things. This chair I'm sitting on was created by somebody, but it didn't start with a chair like this. Obviously, in the ancient times, it might be a tree. It was a tree. They cut the stem, put it down, someone sits on it. Another person came, saw the stem, and realized that, no, I can chop it and give it a back to lean on. Another person also realized that no, using trees is going to worry us. And so let's use metals and add foam so it will be comfortable. So people begin increasing and perfecting the idea. You are also a perfecter. You were created to come and also perfect something and then leave. And that thing is service. And so everybody has that thing inside them. It is time for us to begin to bring it out. It doesn't matter what age you are. We all have that opportunity to contribute to society. And then the last but not the least, you don't need to look far. Well, you don't need to look far. You just need to look around you. At times, it might even be offering the light in the masjid to reduce the electricity consumption. And that is your change. At times, it is by you just ensuring that the small children who are going to school, you are just by the roadside and then smiling at them and telling them that they are good, they are solid, they can make it. And so, when we talk about change initiatives, it shouldn't be something big. Just look within you, identify that wonderful, unique thing that you can make, and then make it out. And please, when people are also making change, let's allow them. When they go wrong, we shouldn't expect perfection from them. Tomorrow, when you hear that Zico has done something wrong, don't be surprised. I'm a human being. But that doesn't mean that all the positive things that I have done should be washed down the drain. No. When I'm doing positive things and you are saying, "Hey, Zico, you've done well." When I do a negative thing, don't carry the positive one and throw it out. You should just, reprimand me on the negative one that I have done. When we finish, we all understand ourselves and then we move on. That is life. And so when we begin to understand this and we begin to really, move this way, life is actually going to get easier for us. People even just need motivation. There might be that small guy in your community. It is not money he's looking for. He just wants you to tell him that, look, bro, you can do it. Or better still, when you are drinking tea, he wants you to call him, sit with him, drink the tea. He has that positive appeal. Maybe in the conversation, he just needs that one word that will unlock that wonderful idea in his head. Or that will unlock that personality of his. So let's begin to offer it. And trust me, it's not for free. Wallahi, Allah is actually going to be blessing us for this. And trust me, it is going to really work. And so let's begin to look at it from this angle and let's begin to move one at a time. And then let's use also social media to amplify some of these things.
And with that, how did social media impacted and help your social impact?
We're copying people's ideas at times. Yes. So let's be frank. You see somebody's idea, and then you see that the person is doing well. I have actually been someone who have been calling people to tell them, Charlie, I see this idea. I'm so much interested in it. Can I join you? I join the person and I go and I support. When I support and I come and I'm posting, I post it. People will come and tell me, God bless me. It's not my idea, but I went to support. Are you getting it? When you also see somebody's project, maybe I'm doing read camp in Accra. You also have a village there in Bungurugu Yoyo. You can also copy the idea and do it there or call me to come and help you. That's all. So social media has actually created a global village for us. But unfortunately, our Zongo community have not really reaped the impact, the positive impact of social media. We actually have, possibly used it in ridiculing ourselves, trying to use it to name and shame alone, where we have actually pages that will actually be, dedicated to tarnish the image of people who we know nothing about by virtue of the fact that people claim that we should publish them. No, we need to do due diligence. And even if it is wrong, I believe that you are not the secretary of God, so, it's actually trying to find a way of, finding a unique way of, coming down nerves. And so, our Zongo people, let's begin to take some of these opportunities. And trust me, if we do, it's really going to be very positive. Let's use it to talk about the things that are confronting our community. Let's use it to encourage a lot of people to get into politics. Let's use it to encourage a lot of people to pursue bigger academic lives. And I think at certain points in the Zongo community's time, we saw people posting their graduation photos and people commending people who are, pursuing a lot of education outside the country and those who are, getting their masters and stuff like that. It was okay. And so let's amplify some of these things, pay more attention to some of these things. I didn't say that we can't come and do our dancing and whatsoever. If we don't do it, it's good. But if that is what you think is actually going to create a positive, meaningful change in the life of another person, why not? I'm not saying do that, but I'm just probing your thoughts so that we think in line with
There
some
should
of
be a
these unique
purpose
things. There
in
should be a purpose,
everything.
and that purpose should be morally right. It should be not
Culturally
illegal.
accepted as well.
It should be culturally accepted, and so that we all move. Because trust me, no one can build a nation alone, and no one can create the change that we want to see. I think when we begin to understand some of these things will really get better.
And how do you build trust with the people in the community? I mean, because as I said earlier, it's difficult to convince our people, especially in certain areas or fields, when they are not interested. I mean, how do you build trust before you through your career and your social impact activities? How do you build that trust?
Well, I think people need to be informed. People need to understand what you're talking about. You see, so this actually draws us into stakeholder engagement so much in project initiatives. And when you come within the social impact space, stakeholder engagements are extremely important. So currently, we just run a drug abuse campaign in Medina Zongo. That's Medina Zongo Unite Against Illicit Drugs, and we have almost all the chiefs, imams, pastors, traditional leaders, opinion leaders in support of the project. And this happened because we really took our time to really engage in a deeper stakeholder consultation, And so there are people who they want to understand the thing. And understanding does not necessarily mean dissemination of information. You can disseminate the information, but someone has not really understood it. And so there are certain people who do not think the way you think. And so they need to have a deeper explanation of the issue. And there are people who don't need a deeper explanation. They just need you to inform them because they know already about it. And, there are some people who also need to be listened to because they equally have unique ideas that when they bring on board could actually make whatever idea or whatever intervention you want to push out work. That is where you begin to build the public trust or the community trust, because everyone must feel unique, must feel important, must feel valued. And so when you want to engage in any activity of this kind, you need to go to them, talk to them, listen to them, let them offer you your suggestions, let them offer you their ideas. It doesn't mean that when they say you should do it, of course, you can't implement everybody's idea. Yes, you just pick the ones that are in line with the stated goals that you want to achieve. And then you begin to implement them. Now, when you are done, you need to be accountable. You need to let them know, all right, how it was done, how much was raised, what was it used for, and then how you are going about to do some of these things. And trust me, this is actually going to open more doors for you to be able to embark on a lot of activity. For me, my projects have been homegrown, home supported, and it has actually, been something that we have done over these years. And these were some of the strategies that we used. But it doesn't also mean that it went smooth. It doesn't also mean that we had everybody supporting us. Of course, you can go and have discussions with somebody. The next minute, you will see the person laughing at you. And it's part of the game. That really makes us stronger, not supposed to make us weaker and take us away from what we are supposed to.
That's very interesting. So now, Zico, Ishaq Abubakar. In fact, you have the same name with my boss here. I want to know, if people hear this name, Ishaq Abubakar, Zico, what do you want to be the next thought that reflects in the brain or in the mind or that will linger in the person?
Community development, community growth, youth transformation, what do you call it? Inclusivity. These are the things that should come to mind. Youth development, community development, youth transformation. Yes, this should be the things that should run when you hear the name King Zico.
In fact, I have mine already running into my mind. And lastly, can I kindly say something to the camera so that at least some advice, it can be in Hausa, any language, something to hit deeper in the heart of our people to understand that everything that we do, and I know this selfless act that you are not doing it to benefit you and the 12,000, 4,800 students you are helping. I'm not sure even some of them even come to give you something that, oh, what you did some years back, this is the return. But no, but you are doing it. At least they can go and impact on somebody. So this your camera, say something, at least something that will positively impact on our people, to let them know that, yeah, anybody else can do what you are doing for the sake of our community. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you so very much. I think I've said everything in my submissions, but one unique thing I want to say is that IBG Studios is doing an extremely wonderful job,
Thank you so much.
and it's time for us to really support them. They wouldn't be able to do this if we don't support them financially, we don't support them spiritually, we don't support them in kind. They wouldn't be able to continue with stuffs like this. They are doing a wonderful job. They're actually, bringing out what the Zongo communities have had within them that has been hidden. They're actually bringing them out. So I think it's time for us to give them the necessary support. When you see their video, share it, comment, like it, recommend to other people to also watch. When you see their Momo platform also, if you don't have a lot of money, you can even send them 10 Ghana, send them 20 Ghana, send them something. And if you even have gadgets that you are not using, you can loan it to them. Let them use it for whatever thing that they are doing. And in this way, we automatically will be able to propagate the good works that people are doing, and the society can actually get sustained because others will learn from it and they will equally implement wonderful ones in their various communities.
Mashallah.
Thank you so very much, and I'm so
Mashallah.
impressed
That's
with your work.
Very,
Thank you.
That's very, very interesting. And the IBG studio is the voice of Zongo with me, Honorable Ufailu Sani. And it has been a wonderful journey through Mr. Zico Abubakar Ishaq's life. And trust me, I'm well educated, well motivated. Now I've gathered the courage to do whatever I've left, and I'm going to continue it. And please don't forget to continue or start yours. And well, trust me, it's a network. Thank you.